Welcome to the Unscripted Insight Podcast, the podcast where we explore the mind, challenge beliefs, and open the heart. And I'm your host, Duffield. Today, I want to invite you into a powerful reflection, one that might change the way you see your entire life. Let me start by saying something that might sound radical, something that might sound very offensive, that might come out offensive to you. But please, forgive me if it does. um, no one has ever hurt you. Not once, not ever. Let me repeat myself again. No one has ever hurt you. Not once. Never has anyone hurt you. Pause with that for a second. Let that echo. Let it stir the resistance in you. I know. It doesn't feel that way. I know. That's what you're probably saying. That's a lie. I've been hurt several times. You're probably saying that to yourself. You're probably thinking, what about when they lied to me? What about when I was abandoned? What about when they said those cruel things to me? What about when they cursed me out? What about when you can list all sort of whatever. But I'm inviting you to consider this. What if it wasn't them? What if it wasn't them that upset you? What if it wasn't the event that upset you, but the meaning that you gave it? If you can sit with this discomfort, we might discover something freeing. That our pain, while it might be very real to us, often isn't coming from the outside world at all. It's coming from within. Let me dive more into that. Let's talk about something called emotional responsibility. It is that simple but profound idea that your emotions comes from within, correct? Comes from within. So we can all agree on that, right? Not from the events. Our emotions comes from within, not from A or Mr. B, but from us. So let's agree on that, right? So in other words, it's also saying that emotion is coming from the programming of our mind, from your program. Your mind is like a filter, right? Every moment, it is interpreting the world based on old beliefs, past experiences, and subconscious fears. However, that's not your fault. No, I'm not saying it's your fault, but it is your opportunity. Think of your reactions like echo. Someone throws a word at you or throws a word your way, says something to you, and it hits something deep inside you. You can decide to react or not react. That reaction is what I call echo. That's your echo. So when someone says something that triggers anger or shame or sadness in you, the feeling that arises is not from them, it's from you, from a wound inside you that is already existing. It's come from something that is in existence inside you. Imagine someone calling you a name, right? That means absolutely nothing to you. You shrug it off. But if they say something that touches a nerve, it hurts. Now the question is why? Why does it hurt? Why can I say A and A means nothing? But when I say B, B hurts. The reason is because the nerve is already existing inside you. The good thing about it is healing is possible because if it's within you, you can explore it. And if you can explore it, you can learn it. And by learning it, you can control it. You can begin to soften around it. You can know how to maneuver. You can know how to allow your emotions, you know, or rather control your emotions. This is more like a conditioning programmed in you. Now, you might ask me, where does the inner programming come from? That's a very good question. For most people, it comes from the time they were children, when they were kids. Let's put it this way. For most of us, right? When we were kids or when you were kids, you are conditioned to believe that certain things are certain ways, that love must be earned, that you're not good enough, that being rejected means you're unworthy. These programs run like hidden codes in our mind. We internalize these things, we internalize these messages so early that they become invisible, they just become invisible in us. They start running the show until they start controlling all that we do. So when someone ignores you or ignores us, we don't just experience our silence, we experience all the pain. Our programming attaches to the silence. Think of it like a song. The world plays a note at you, your mind adds a whole melody to it. That melody is usually composed in childhood, let's put it that way, refined by adolescence, and repeated in adulthood until we stop and listen. Changing the world isn't the answer. Rewriting the melody is. It takes courage to unlearn. Yes, it does. This is where true empowerment lives. Not in trying to control the world, but in understanding our lens. So you might be asking me, what's the point? What's the point of what I'm saying? The point is that this isn't about blaming. It's about power. Real power. If your pain comes from your conditioning, then you have the power to change it. If the hurt is happening inside you, then you have access. You have access to the root, to the source. And this means you can transform it. When someone offends you, ask yourself, what belief did this bump against? What exactly has this bump against? What is this triggering? What expectation was shattered? What story am I telling myself right now? Is there an old voice from the past speaking through the pain? The moment you pause and ask these questions, you would realize a shift. You move from being reactive to being reflective, from being a victim to witness, from being uncautious to being awake. When you take the ownership of the emotion, you reclaim your freedom. You're no longer at the mercy of whatever they say or they do. You become the author of your inner world. Yes. And you know the good part about it is that from that place, all things can change. You don't need others to behave differently. You don't need the world to adjust itself to your wounds. You meet yourself fully. And that's where healing happens. Now, let me tell you a quick story. A friend of mine used to get deeply upset when people interrupted him. He saw it like more like a sign of disrespect. And honestly, I tend to used to feel that way. I think I kind of sort of do, kind of, but I'm getting better. Back to the story. He did used to feel like a sign of disrespect. It made him feel small, unheard. One day he realized it. He realized something. The real issue wasn't the interruption. The real issue was the belief that he had to fight to be valued. The belief came from childhood, where he was often talked over. But when he changed his belief, he began to see value as inherent. The interruption no longer occurred, no longer stung. He didn't even notice them at all. No, this doesn't mean he loved being interrupted. No, but it meant that being interrupted no longer defined his worth. That shift changed. It changed everything. It changed everything. And that story about the friend who had a partner, and I know for most of you, you fall under this category too, where you get so upset when certain things are not done your way or done early enough. But back to the story again. He had a partner um, that he texted, and he got so upset when the text is not replied quickly back to him. Beneath the anger, there was this fear of abandonment, a childhood wound. Once he saw it, he could hold space for his emotions instead of projecting it. He began asking himself, what do I make this mean? Instead of accusing, he began revealing. He started talking, talking about his inner fears rather than blaming his partner. Again, it's all about emotional responsibilities. What can you control as regards to your emotions? That is a big tool or big part to our reactions. It kind of determines our reactions. In both cases, if you notice this, the hurt wasn't about the event, it was about the story. I'm talking about the cases of these two stories I just mentioned right now. It wasn't about what happened. It wasn't about the event of what made them upset. It was about the story that led to the event. And when the story was questioned, freedom began. So, what can we do with all of this? How can I do better? How can I help myself? You might probably be asking yourself. Most of the time, personally for me, I pause. When triggered, I pause. I don't react. I let the emotion be there without judgment. I feel it and let it be dealt. I don't try to overthink it. I'm a work in progress. I'm not perfect. Nobody is, but this has been something that's been helpful to me. I always ask myself, what am I believing right now that's creating the emotions? Is that belief true? I try to be gentle with myself, be gentle with my mind. I try to let myself understand that the programming isn't my fault. It was learned. It can be unlearned. Healing begins with softness, not force. You don't force things to happen, you allow it. Be patient with it, the situation. You're intentional, but you're patient. Don't force it. Also, you can consider journaling. However, journaling means to you. Whether you want to write it down, whether you want to record it, however you know how to journal. Journal. Journal your triggered moments. Trace them back. You'll often be surprised by what you find. A belief from childhood, an old story replaying like a broken record. And finally, know this. If you change, the world will change. The world will change not because the world has shifted, no, but because your eyes has. Because you finally realized who you are. You now have a better understanding. You see more clearly. You respond more wisely. You stop fighting ghosts and start embracing truth. You live more from peace than protection. This isn't just emotional hygiene, it's a spiritual awakening. You are not your programming. You are the one noticing the programming. You are the witness, the awareness, the one who sees the movie playing, not the character in it. This is the Unscripted Insight Podcast. And if this speaks to you, please do share with someone you love. Someone might be carrying the same weight. And take a moment today to pause and notice. Notice how you can be better. Notice how you can control and be emotionally responsible. Until next time, stay curious, stay kind, and remember, no one has ever hurt you. Only your perception can. And that means you hold the key to freedom. Peace.